Hi, my name is Brandon, and I'd like to ask you a question. When you turned 18, did you feel prepared to do things that adults were supposed to be able to do? Things like writing a check, applying for a loan, or renting an apartment? I graduated high school about 7 years ago, and I didn't feel the slightest bit prepared to be the adult I legally was. One thing I wish I had learned was how to balance my funds. That's why today, I'd like to share with you my experience and research and walk you through the 6 steps to creating a budget. Now, some of you might be asking, why should I create a budget? Well, the Federal Student Aid Office of the U.S. Department of Education says that budgeting can help you achieve not only your academic goals, but financial ones as well. This could help you save up for a birthday gift or a movie night, or even work towards longer-term goals, saving for a car, a house, or even retirement. Now, the first step is we're going to determine how long we're going to make our budget for. Are you going to make your budget for a week, a month, a year? Ultimately, it's up to you and your needs, though the FSA does recommend that first-time college students create a budget for the academic year. The next step is to figure out how you're going to make your budget. There are plenty of budgeting apps available on your phones, like Mint and Personal Capital. You can use simple spreadsheet software like Microsoft Excel, or you can use pen and paper. The FSA does offer the Financial Awareness Counseling tool on their website for students to use to make a budget. The third step is we're going to calculate our income. This can be income from work, financial aid refunds, family contributions, anything that puts money into your account. Some of you might have more irregular income from side gigs, commission work, or freelance work, in which case Emily Guy Birkin, author of finance advisory books like The 5 Years Before You Retire and End Financial Stress Now, suggests that you take an average of the past 3 to 6 months of your income and use that number. Following that, we're going to calculate our expenses. This requires you to go through all your financial documents, credit card bills, bank statements, receipts, etc., and see just what you're spending on and how much you're spending. Once you've done that, you need to classify those spendings into 2 categories that the FSA and Birkin call your fixed expenses and your varied expenses. Your fixed expenses are expenses that you don't expect to change on a monthly basis. Things like rent, utilities for gas and water, car payments, phone plans. On the other hand, your varied expenses could change as frequently as on a weekly basis based on how much you need them. Groceries, medicine, electricity, credit card statements, and food and travel costs are all examples of varied expenses. One expense you should consider is saving for an emergency fund. Life happens, and you might find yourself needing to suddenly pay for a hospital bill, a car repair, or even a whole new place to live. A good rule of thumb, per Margaret Burnett, finance writer at the Associated Press and USA Today, is to try to have at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up. If that's not possible, then she advises you to try to set aside $500 and to work your way up from there. Now that we figured out our income and our expenses, the next step is to balance our budget. There are many rules and ratios out there to help you decide how you want to balance your income, but one rule I like to follow is the 50-20-30 rule. This rule was introduced by then Professor, now Senator Elizabeth Warren in her book, All Your Worth, Ultimate Lifetime Money Plan. The rule simply divides your income into 3 separate pools. 50% of your income goes towards your expenses like rent and groceries, 20% goes towards your savings for your credit card bills and your emergency funds, and 30% goes towards your wants, things for leisure you don't need, movies, eating out, buying games and clothes. It's up to you. Our last step is to simply maintain our budget. Keeping a budget is an ongoing process, and your numbers will change as your life does. Finding a new job, finishing school, finding a new place to live, all of these will affect your income and your expenses. So it's a good habit to update your budget frequently and to see where you're overspending. And that's it. Really, creating a budget is as simple as that. Figuring out how long you're making your budget for and what you're going to make your budget on, calculating your income and your expenses, balancing your budget, and maintaining it frequently. By keeping a budget, you can build better spending habits and work towards financial goals that might not be as far away as you think they are. Thank you.